Hey there. So, my work week is done. Yay! Kind of. I've got I do a little work tomorrow. So I left my old job to come to this job about a year and a half ago. It was in December 2019, 4 months before the pandemic struck. And I came here particularly following a guy who used to be my boss's boss's boss, invited me to come join him here to take on a project. So I did that, and been here all this time. It's really been a challenging time. But this coming Monday, all that effort will pay off. We're going to go live with the thing, the new project. Wow, first time I've started to feel at ease, professionally in months. It's been a challenge. It was really the pandemic that threw us for a loop. Suddenly having the place where we work closed down, and realized that people can't come to the city to do business, so that our project could help with that by allowing them to do business online. So it's been a lot of that. Oh gosh, so I just on the way home, I got a long, about a 2-hour drive through LA traffic home, and I was feeling tired. So I pulled over to the side, and I decided to take an ocean swim. But before I do that, I thought I would talk for just a little bit about a topic that I was thinking about, that I was talking to my wife about this week, namely the ocean. So Yumiko and I have been kind of entertaining the idea of maybe going back to Japan, and we were talking about various places to live. Of course, we go back to Shizuoka. That's where her family is. As long as we're going to be there, we might as well be close to her family. And we were also thinking about maybe going to the Pacific Northwest as an alternative. And we were comparing, we were exploring virtually the Oregon and Washington coast, small towns along the way, trying to kind of get an idea about where we might want to live. And of course, we were noticing the rugged beauty of the Pacific Northwest, the coastal areas there especially. And I commented to her how Japan has so many places that are very similar, different but similar in many ways. But the feeling is so different. In the United States, those areas feel both rugged, remote, and forbidding, but yet awe-inspiring, beautiful, and you want to live close to it, right? You'd love to have a house overlooking that awful, awful in the best sense of the word, energy of the sea, rolling forth, assaulting the land, even in peacetime, seemingly assaulting the land. I lived that way when I was in college for so many years, in Coastal Beach up in Northern California. And I was telling my wife about how, like for example in Shizuoka where we live, there's a whole stretch of area from the Miho Peninsula, which is right up at the tip of Shimizu, all the way up many miles, all the way up towards the Rocky Mountains where the odd border where between Shizuoka and Yaizu, I think so, where Jim Mullins lives, and miles and miles of beautiful coast. And I commented to her how none of the areas there are places where anybody would really feel like you'd want to live. Those communities along the coast there have the feel of a backwater part of town, almost the other side of the tracks. Like, it's like, well, we could live downtown, but we can't quite afford it, so we might as well get a house on the beach. As backwards as that kind of sounds, right? And she, without batting an eye, she said, "But yeah, that's the way it is in Japan." And yeah, exactly as Koyomi just said, that's due to the tsunami risk. And she said it's because it's the sea. The sea was angry that day, my friend. To quote a Seinfeld episode, right? Remember when George pretended to be a marine biologist. But as you just pointed out, the ocean is simply a dangerous place. It's not someplace to mess with, and it's certainly not someplace to go to and to enjoy. Unless it's in a very sanctioned area, right? You go to a particular area, it's cordoned off, there's buoys out in the water, there's lifeguards, there's the stations where you can change your clothes, and you're crowded, packed all along the beach. That you can go to, but just going to a place like this, I mean, literally, where I am right now, there's just water on the beach. There's a breakwater right there, and another breakwater right there. I don't think anybody in Japan would if there was, and there's plenty of places like this. There's many people would want to go swimming here. Walk in harmony to you, Cloud 5, Cloud S. Indeed. So what that means, of course, is that if we wanted to live near the beach in Japan, it's a breeze. But then it's also a typhoon, right? Because you have to bear with those typhoons. Although Japan does have those enormous sea walls everywhere, but we've all learned through the unfortunate events of 2011 just how much of a token those might be, right? Okay. I'm going to go do my little ocean swim. I'll leave this running for a minute. I'm going to go do my ocean, just do a short jump in the water and jump back out, and then I'll come back and shut this off. But you guys can see the view for just a second if you want. By the way, it's just a beautiful day here in Ventura, California. Probably about 68, 70 degrees or something like that. Got a nice onshore breeze blowing. The waves are pretty decent. I'm going to go salt up, and then from there, maybe after I turn the camera off, I'll go swim a little more and then have that commute home. So I'll be back in a second. think the exhaustion of the day has kind of washed off me. Not enough for the ride home yet, but enough to start the process of taking it easy. I'll shut the camera down in just a second, and I'll go out and hang out in the water a little more, and then come back and rest on the sand, and then get ready for the long ride home. Boy, you know, it's funny how I talk about getting old a lot, and it's because it's an important topic to me. But it's like talking about religion. It's more and more it seems like it's a taboo subject, because whenever I mention it, people seem to push back. Well, it's not mentioning getting old. It's just the the fact of winding down. That little baby right there. Those days are long gone for me. They're a little girl too. Muscles, growing, and bones getting stronger, and all that stuff. And it's central now. That process, that feeling of winding down. And it's a curious thing how that seems to be a taboo subject. Like you're depressed or something if you talk about it. It's more like fascination. That I'm not going to be around that much longer. Literally, and nor are you. Very, very soon, we will be memories. And then very, very soon after that, not even that. We won't even be remembered. Maybe echoes of our deeds will filter through society. Maybe some of our words, especially if we preserve them in some way, will be read by someone. I read a book about 6 months ago by an author who wrote a book called Solitude. That this was like in the 15th century, and he basically went out of print. And the only reason I was able to get that book was that there was something like Project Gutenberg that brought it back. They didn't even transcribe it. They just photocopied the book, warts and all, from the 15th century publishers. All the strange spellings and all. And you could read it from the photocopies, and it was brilliant and it was interesting. And I wondered, and I only got it because I could able to get that special reproduction printing. And I wondered to myself, well, how many people in the last 20 years have read this, or the last 100 years, or the last 500 years have read this man's works? His name was Johann Zimmerman, I think it was. Book of Solitude. He's lucky, one of the lucky ones, if you want to call it that, to have his memory and his words carry on. But to what end, right? Who gives a damn, really? I mean, the universe doesn't. Certainly doesn't. I guess it makes a difference to someone that it touches, like Thoreau's words mean so much to me. And on it goes. But to what real end? To what real purpose? The beauty of being a nihilist, of believing that there is no God, that there is no I gotta get the word right, intrinsic purpose. Yes, I think I've got it right. You have to watch out if you use the word inherent or intrinsic, those two words, because they mean different things. I don't believe there's any intrinsic purpose to us other than the apparent mandate to carry on with our species, to find someone to mate with, and to have make more copies of our genes, to ensure that there's as many versions of ourselves in the next generation to carry on. I guess that's the only real success. And even at that, it's no more of a success than a chemical reaction carrying on its way. Sober thoughts. Sobering thoughts for me. Delicious thoughts. And all the more so when I reflect on how soon I'll be gone. I won't suffer you to join my little club of doom. But I will suggest that from this angle and perspective, life doesn't look bleak, or it looks less bleak and sorrowful than wondrous and momentous and something to be treasured for the brief bits of whimsy that it is. This sun upon my shoulder right now feels so good, and I know that this delicious bit of energy will turn to cold decay before long. So I better enjoy it while I can. Well, I think I've gone on long enough with this. Let's see if there's any comments. Walk in harmony, yes. Have a great day and weekend. You too. Silver Miss, I think those are peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace to you. And with that, everybody, I'll sign off for now. Gonna go for a little swim back into the water for a while. Take a little nap on the beach, and then go home and start my weekend in earnest. But not really. I'll be working tomorrow too, so from home. But I shouldn't be. But off the clock, but on the clock. You know how it is. Okay. Until retirement and death do us part. So with that, I'll say, remember, the path of wildness is easy to find. The course of a stream, leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, and the direction of our first inclination. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Devil's Clutch. You have a good weekend. You have a good day, too. Bye-bye.